feel very midsummer today. But I couldn't not wear the flower crown for Beltane. Hello my feral friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Panthera and I'm the Feral Wood Witch. And this is Luna. She might be around this video. We'll see. Today we're going to be delving into Beltane, a little bit of history, the correspondences, ideas for magical workings to do during this time, and ways to celebrate. So grab a cozy beverage, get your note-taking implements of choice, and let's get to it. So what is Beltane? Beltane's my favorite Sabbat. And I think a lot of this is because I really enjoy the themes of growth and abundance and prosperity. And also, I just freaking love summer, man. And it's so close. Beltane's like, finally, it's here. Beltane is one of the 8 Sabbats on the Wheel of the Year and takes place at the halfway point between the summer solstice and the spring equinox. As with most of the Sabbats, the theme of this holiday tends to reflect what is going on in nature during this time. And for Beltane, spring is in full bloom, and in fact, as part of the Celtic fire festivals, Beltane actually kicks off summer. The birds are busy building nests for their young, animals are seeking mates, farmers are beginning to prepare their fields for the summer and for the hardworking months ahead. Beltane is a celebration of this fertility, this abundance, the growth during this time. While many of our Sabbats do have kind of modern holidays associated with them, for example, Samhain you kind of have Halloween, Yule you kind of have Christmas. I guess the closest one to Beltane would be Valentine's Day. But instead of buying chocolates for somebody you like, it's kind of see you in the woods later. And just to make it clear, that's totally not why it's my favorite. The origins of Beltane come from the Celtic festival of Beltane, which was predominantly celebrated in Ireland, Scotland, and the Isle of Man. This time marked the halfway point for the Celtic year and this beginning of summer. Being one of the 4 Celtic fire festivals, Beltane is also a cross-quarter holiday, along with Imbolc, Samhain, and Lugnasa. These Sabbats were often celebrated with huge bonfires that represented the sun as it moves throughout the year. In fact, the name Beltane is actually derived from the Celtic god Belenes, or Bel, and the word tene, meaning fire. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering any of the pronunciations here. I'm trying my best. Also, being across from Samhain on the Wheel of the Year, Beltane is similarly associated with the thinning of the veil. It is believed that during this time, it's easier to communicate with beings that exist on planes other than our own, meaning the dead, deities, or in specifically this instance of Beltane, the Fae. Now that we have a base overview of the Sabbat, let's get to some correspondences. Correspondences. If you are unfamiliar with correspondences, they are essentially the items or objects that are particularly associated or potent during this time of the year. Now, this might come from them just being in season or related to folklore during this period. So, the colors that are associated with Beltane are pink, red, green, white, brown, yellow, pastels, and general bold floral colors. Crystals, stones, and metals associated with Beltane are bloodstone, carnelian, rose quartz, emerald, amber, and malachite. Animals associated with Beltane are bees, cows, deer, frogs, rabbits, swallows, doves, swans, and cats. Trees commonly associated with Beltane are oak, hawthorn, birch, pine, and willow. Herbs and plants associated with Beltane are bluebells, clover, foxglove, honeysuckle, lemon, lilac, marigolds, mint, mugwort, rose, thyme, and yarrow. In general, it's really any flowering plant during this period of time. Now keep in mind, some plants mentioned above, particularly foxglove, are poisonous, so please do your research before utilizing them in any of your workings. Food and drink associated with Beltane are almond, bread, cakes, cherry, dairy, honey, greens, lemonade, oatmeal, strawberries, mead, and wine. Once again, pretty much foods that traditionally people had access to or were still good being stored through the winter at this period of time. So either fresh or long-term storage. And lastly, here are some of the deities commonly associated with Beltane to save me from having to pronounce them all. Once again, I do want to throw in here that deities should not just be thrown into a spell willy-nilly, right? They're not a recipe ingredient. These are just deities that are particularly associated with this time of the year or with this particular Sabbat. So if you already work with them or were already looking into reaching out to them during this time, it's a good time to do that. Yeah. Now that we have the correspondences covered, let's talk about some ideas for magical workings. These are themes that are particularly potent during the Sabbat. Bonus points if you can also squeeze in some of those correspondences that we just mentioned above. Or before. Not above. It's a video. So, magical themes that associate with Beltane are love, lust, romance, relationships, self-love, gardening, growth, fertility, abundance, prosperity, protection, cleansing, creativity, wealth, and purification. Now, what are some ways that you can celebrate Beltane? And I put this disclaimer in all of my Sabbat videos, but once again, do not feel bad if you cannot have a huge feast during this time or a giant ritual, right? We all have different energy levels. We all have different amounts of time that we can spend doing these things. You are not any less of a witch or any less of a practitioner for just having a simple celebration or not celebrating it at all if you really don't want to, if you don't have the energy that day. It's perfectly fine. It can be as grand or as simple as you'd like. All right, let's get to the fun stuff. So like I said before, Beltane traditions are typically heavily associated with fertility, lust, love, and romance. It's a fantastic time to do extracurricular activities with a consenting partner or with yourself if you want to. However, I do want to state that this is not a requirement at all. And there are many other ways of embracing this theme without the more physical associations. Try just showing some affection to your plants, giving them a little extra care, giving gifts to your favorite people just because you want to show them that you care, or just doing something nice for someone because you like them, doing something nice for yourself because you like yourself. Or you should. I like you. I need to stop being a creep. It's really hard. Speaking of giving gifts, a May basket is a common way of celebrating the Sabbat. It typically involves filling a basket with baked goods, flowers, anything that you might have made or just want to give to someone, and then handing it off to a neighbor or a friend. And of course, while maypoles might be the traditional symbol associated with Beltane, not all of us have a giant pole just sitting in our backyard for us to decorate, right? So instead, try decorating a May tree or a May bush. Decorate the plant with ribbons and flowers. You can leave offerings around it for your local spirits. You can even write petitions and bury them at the roots of the plant. Just make sure you clean up anything that isn't biodegradable after. And of course, since Beltane is one of the 4 Celtic fire festivals, a bonfire is a fantastic way to celebrate. Just make sure you follow all of fire safety guidelines in your area. And a fireplace also is fine if you do not have a safe location to build a fire outside. Or if you don't even have a fireplace, a Beltane candle works too. No judgment. Do what you gotta do. Decorating your altar is also always one of my favorite things to do with each Sabbath. I feel like it just helps me get into the celebratory mood. I can decorate with corresponding colors, ribbons, flowers, images, themes, symbols, herbs, and crystals that all... Try using corresponding colors, symbols, herbs, flowers, and crystals in decorating your altar for Beltane. Also, if you're in a place where the weather is getting warmer, Beltane is another great Sabbath to start taking your magic outside. And of course, if you don't have an altar space that you can decorate, you can always decorate yourself and dress up to celebrate the Sabbath. Dress in colors that represent Beltane to you and the themes that correspond with this celebration. And just like we saw with Ostara, flower crowns, specifically with like dandelions or other blooming flowers during this time, make great crafts or accessories during this time. I couldn't resist. And now we get to my favorite, the food. Beltane is an absolutely fantastic Sabbat to work with the seasonal foods in your area. A lot of our produce is starting to awaken, so to speak. Even in my cold climate area, things such as dandelions are growing abundantly. We've even got some fresh greens that are coming up. So see what is locally in season for your area and try incorporating that into your Beltane festivities. But in general, seeds, nuts, berries, fresh greens, and dairy were all commonly associated with this Sabbat and are fantastic to work with during this time. It can also be a fun time to celebrate with berry wines or meads, even sangria, if you're into that. Or if you prefer a non-alcoholic beverage, even just like a strawberry lemonade would be fantastic to work with the season. I do have a couple recipes for Beltane up on my blog. I will have them linked down in the description below. Maybe one day we'll do a video on those. But if you try them, let me know what you think. And that's all for today, my friends. I hope this video gave you a brief but thorough look at the Sabbat of Beltane. I do hope to eventually cover a lot more about all of these Sabbats. However, I do want to start with just like a nice simple base, easily digestible for all of you guys, and then we'll progress from there. We got that nice firm foundation to move forward from. Let me know in the comments what your plans are for Beltane. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button to not miss out on any future witchcraft education videos or videos on the Wheel of the Year. Also below in the description, I have included a free Beltane Grimoire page that I've made just for you that covers a lot of the basics of what we've talked about today. So be sure to grab that. The link, as well as the accompanying blog post, is down in the description below. And until I see you next time, my friend, stay wild. Luna? Hey, you gotta play with the crinkliest toy. No! You crazy girl. Y'all, she's going nuts. This is the toy she's playing with. You wanna get it? Fetch. She went. Nope, not lastly. I look like a whole different person when I'm like, hello. Destroy. Oh no, you guys can see all my crappily applied makeup when I'm this close. These lashes do look good though. Might be a little different, that's okay. Celtic festival. Luna? Luna! Wow, every single time. What is she? You scare yourself? Oh my god, she's going crazy. I don't know if I can show you guys her. Can you see her?